everyone, and welcome to another instalment of Case Me a Christmas Card for 2024. My name's Michelle Lupton, and today my guest is my lovely friend Therese Calvird from Lost in Paper. So I'm starting my card today using the Festive Poinsettia stamp from Syberia Designs. Now, this stamp has matching layering stencils and a matching die set, but I'm not using either of those today. I am just using the stamp. So I've started with a white card base, and unusually for me, it's a side folding card base. That doesn't usually happen with me. Most of my cards are top folding, and I'm using my Altenew stamp wheel because it is quite a large stamp, the stamp wheel makes that easy to work with. And now I'm just going to place some masking magic from Gina K Designs just on the edge of where that stamp is, and you can see I didn't even re-ink my stamp. I just used what ink was left on the stamp, and then I'm going to fussy cut around the edges of the poinsettia here using my little scissors. I didn't need to stamp very much of this poinsettia to do the masking, because only part of the poinsettia is actually going to overlap the edge of this one. I just did what I absolutely needed to. So now I've fussy cut the edges that I needed to. I'm going to place that down, try and get it lined up as neatly as I possibly can. And then I'm going to reorganize my stamp wheel with the card and the stamp so that I can stamp a second impression of the poinsettia in the bottom left. So here we go with the second one, and with each one I stamped it twice to make sure that I got a nice dark impression. I just want it to be a nice crisp outline, because there isn't going to be any colouring in of this image on this card. It's just going to be the outline, so I want to make sure it's nice and bold. So there we go, and now I can remove my mask, and I've got my two poinsettias there. Now let's have a look at the card that I'm casing for today from Therese, and it's absolutely genius. She has pattern paper on the inside of her card, florals on the front of her card that she used partial die cutting, and then if she just left it with the florals, her card would have toppled over when she's tried to stand it up. So she added the bird with its very long tail as a prop, basically to hold the front of the card up, and I just thought that was genius. Now I'm not doing that. That's why I actually stamped the second poinsettia, so that I would have a prop to hold up my card front. And the problem with that is I can't do partial die cutting because I've stamped this poinsettia twice and I use masking to do it. There's no way that I can actually line up the die to cut out the edges of these poinsettias, because they overlap. So it just means that I have to do a little bit of fussy cutting, but oh well, just has to be done. So by the magic of YouTube, I've cut out most of that fussy cutting so you don't have to be bored watching it. I just cut off just a tiny little bit more right near the fold of the card, because it was just looking a little bit messy there, and I wanted it nice and neat. And now I'm just removing the temporary adhesive, the repositionable adhesive I used to keep the card front closed while I was working on it. And now we move on to the pattern paper. Now I am using the Inky colour paper collection from Paper Rose, the 6x6 pack, and I've cut out the 5 or so minutes that it took me to decide which particular piece of paper to use on the inside of this card. There are so many beautiful pieces of paper in this set. It was difficult, but I've finally chosen this one. I've decided to add the adhesive to the card rather than to the pattern paper, just so I know that there's going to be adhesive right to the edge. And then I can just cut off all of the excess really easily. So I've just turned my card upside down so I can see the back side of the card and just cut off the excess. Nice and simple. And now I've got a nice clean card with beautiful colour on the inside and a bold outline on the front. On Therese's card, you might remember it had a white sentiment on a black shadow layer, so I decided to do the same thing, and because her sentiment was only one word, hello, I decided to go with a one-word sentiment here, joy. This die set is actually discontinued, sadly. It's from Birch Press. It's a very old one. I've had it for a very, very long time. I'm just using some Hero Arts adhesive here to add the white joy word onto the shadow layer behind it, and using my Hero Arts tweezers to make sure everything's nicely lined up and straight. And we'll just finish off with a little dot of glue to finish off the dot on the top of the J. Okay, so once that's done, I needed to just clean up the little bits of glue that had squidged out the side. Don't you just hate those little bits of glue that squidge out the side? And there are a few little bits of white cardstock that sometimes you get on the edge of die cuts after you've cut, and I just needed to sort of scratch them away to make sure it was all nice and neat. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there was actually a bit of ink, a bit of black ink on one of the poinsettias that it was not where it was meant to be. So that's where my sentiment is going. Don't you just love things like that? So I'm just using a tiny little bit of adhesive behind the joy, and I'm just opening up the card because I thought in case any glue squidges out the side, I don't want it to go onto the inside of the card. And lo and behold, a little bit of glue squidged out the side. So what I'm doing now is just using my tweezers to just remove the little bit of glue that's squidged out, and then I'm using my embossing powder tool from Rabbit Hole Design, just to make sure that little bit of glue is no longer sticky. So you can use those powder tools for other things other than embossing. Now, to finish off, I decided I wanted to pick up on the little gold lines that are on the pattern paper with some gold embellishments. Now, Therese used little glitter embellishments on her card. I'm just using shiny gold embellishments on mine, and that will finish off my card. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my process, and thank you so much, Therese, for being my guest and my inspiration today. Bye.